Hi everybody, Radical Gardener. My bird's in the cage talking. Can you see her? So, rainy today, but it's not too cold. Let's see, what is the temperature? Oh, and a friend of mine, she says I should tell you what the date is too. All right, first temperature, it is, not now. Come on, today, 50 degrees, and it's going up to 53. So, but a little bit rainy. Not that conducive for being out in the garden. And plus, I'm only a few pages away from having my book completely proofed. And I thought that I had it here to show you what the cover is going to look like, but I will grab that in just a minute and I won't forget. And the date today is the 16th, right? So it's Tuesday. All right, so a lot of teaching going on, and like I said, I've been proofing my book. We have had so many setbacks, and it's been hard not to be frustrated, and you know how I always preach to, going with the flow. But I have to tell you, it's been pretty hard to follow my own advice. And from everything from a cat getting sick and, that costing $1,600 to the kitten dug a hole in our down comforter, which means there were feathers everywhere, to the computer crashing, to, as you know, YouTube took down my channel. I mean, it's been an interesting time, right? But we are just moving ahead. And tomorrow I will go back in the garden. I'll be done proofing the book. So, yippee. What do I want to talk about today? Well, today I want to talk about planting according to the cycles of the moon. Now, the Rudolf Steiner biodynamic calendar already does this. As a matter of fact, I just compared notes with the calendar with this really cool website that I'm going to leave as a link down below. And let me go to the home page of it. It's called Gardening by the Moon. It's a very, very cool website. And you can also order calendar from them. So if you don't want anything that is as specific as the Steiner calendar, then you can always go with this. But then they have this nice little chart here, and it's just real basic of how the planting works. Let's see, Gardening by the Moon. Let's see if this is it. Just a really cool website. Makes a lot of sense as you're moving around it. Lunar planting, how to calculate dates. Just got a little bit of everything. It tells you why it's smart to do this, so you can really understand what it's all about. Wholesale moon planting matrix. They have software for moon planting. What the hell? What does that mean? Phases. Let's see. Phases of the moon. It talks about the gravitational pull. So this is the part I liked, and I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can look at what I'm looking at. Okay, here we are. So it has the new moon, second quarter moon, full moon, fourth quarter moon. At the new moon, the lunar gravity pulls water up and causes the seeds to swell and burst. This factor, coupled with the increasing moonlight, creates balanced root and leaf growth. The first quarter is the best time for planting above ground bearing annual crops that produce their seeds outside the fruit. Examples are lettuce, spinach, celery, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and grain crops. Second quarter moon. In the second quarter, the gravitational pull is less, but the moonlight is strong, creating healthy leaf growth. It is generally a good time for planting, especially 2 days before the full moon. The types of crops that prefer the second quarter are annuals that produce above ground, but their seeds form inside the fruit, such as beans, melons, peas, peppers, squash, and tomatoes. Plant just before the full moon to get the benefits of peak moisture. Full moon. The third and fourth quarters are after the full moon, when the light is waning or decreasing and the energy is drawing down. The gravitational pull is high, creating more moisture in the soil, but the moonlight is decreasing, putting energy into the roots. This is a favorable time for planting, root time for crops such as beets and carrots. It is also good for perennials, bulbs, and transplanting because of the active root growth. Prune in Scorpio. Interesting. In the fourth quarter, there is decreased gravitational pull and moonlight, and this is considered a resting period. This is also the best time to cultivate, harvest, transplant, fertilize, and prune. Mow lawns in the third or fourth quarter to retard growth. Use the water signs for deep watering of shrubs and trees. Well, that is some really good information. So I love this site. And again, it's gardeningbythemoon.com. Okay? All right. Okay, so moving on. Sam's Club. I thought they had closed all the Sam's Clubs, so I guess they just closed some of them. Someone let me know. Okay, so Sam's Club is now selling emergency food prep. So they're selling these buckets, and someone had posted a picture, for example, and they're in these, are they in 5 gallon, 11 pounds, it looks like. Is this a 5 gallon bucket? Yeah, it looks like a 5 gallon bucket. So it has 120, this one that they pictured has 124 servings, ultimate preparedness pack. It's got 64 servings of food, 16 servings of fruit and dessert, 44 beverage servings. So just letting you know that that is available at Sam's Club. If you don't have a Sam's Club around, then it's something you might be able to order online. I'm going to check it out. I want to see what their prices are like. I would imagine their prices are really good. And, you know, you would have to be a member. I'm a Costco member, not a Sam's member, but I'll just see what it's all about. Let's see, seeds. Let's talk about this. So I was just looking up information, making sure that I had it right, and about what how you check to see if your seeds are still good. Okay, so I've heard people say after a year, after 2 years, but this article is disputes that, and that's been my experience too. Actually, one of the first sprouts that I'm seeing out and back is the old peas that I had, right? So I'm definitely going to dry and save those because those seem to be really, really hardy. All right, so I have old packets of seeds. How can I tell if they are still viable? Answer: most seeds last for several years. However, others have a relatively short life. How do you know if your seeds are still viable? Then properly stored in a cool, dry place, seeds' shelf life can be extended. Yet even then, there's no guarantee that they will still be productive for the next season's planting. There are 2 easy tests you can take to check to see if there's life left in your old seeds. So the water test, which I've talked about, actually I had some of my old peas in a glass, and I was testing it. It looked like they were all good, and I had forgotten about it, and it was just like, it turned gummy, so whatever. All right, too many things going on sometimes. Take your seeds and put them in a container of water. Let them sit for about 15 minutes. Then if the seeds sink, they are still viable. If they float, they most likely will not sprout. This method, in my opinion, is not the best way to check your seeds. For sure results, try performing a germination test. Okay, so let's check that out. Take some of your seeds, preferably 10, and place them in a row on top of a damp paper towel. Fold over the paper towel and place in a zip-up plastic bag and seal it. This helps to keep the towel moist and protected. I'm already thinking I like this a lot better. Then put in a warm location like a high shelf or on top of the refrigerator and check the seeds often and around once a day to see if they've begun to germinate and or to check the moisture of the paper towel. If it needs more water, carefully mist the towel to where it is damp, but be careful not to apply too much water. Make sure the location you have chosen is away from exposure to direct sunlight. This can overheat your seeds. Your seeds should begin to germinate in several days up to a couple of weeks, depending on the seed type. A good rule of thumb is to wait roughly 10 days. However, if you want to give your seeds the best chance, research the germination time of your specific seeds. Once the allotted time has passed, check to see how many have germinated. If you place 10 seeds on the paper towel, this will be pretty easy to calculate. If less than 5 seeds sprouted, your old packet may not have much success when it comes to planting. If more than 5 sprouted, then your seeds still have a lot of vigor left in them. Some people wait to perform this germination test around the time of planting so that the successfully sprouted seeds can be placed directly in their garden. A good way to cut time and ensure the plants will flourish beautifully outdoors. No matter what step you take to test the viability of your seeds, always remember that every seed is different and your results may vary. With success, you can help your little seedlings sprout into the magnificent, thriving plants they were meant to be. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I have been really good the last couple of years of how I'm keeping my seeds. I was very sloppy about it before. I was just always in a rush. I worked too much. I just, I was teaching full time, and so things would just fall by the wayside, and that isn't the case anymore. So I'm really trying to stay on top of everything. So anyways, I love that. I love that idea about the seeds. And I do like the paper towel thing. I like that better than putting them in a glass of water. All right, so Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. Let's go here. I'm getting stuff from everybody. He's got specials going on right now. He does believe in global warming, so I'm just warning you. But whatever, he's got good worms. I order his worms every year. And let's see, what kind of deals does he have here? He's got a deal on his super red wigglers, 15% off. Oh, it's 2,000 count red worms. I think that's what I usually get. His farm compost. I bet his compost is really good. But you know what? I'm not going to order it from somewhere else. And remember when Joe and I went and got the worm castings in the ghetto of Detroit? That was fun. It was great. Those guys are wonderful. But I loved all the pit bulls. That was, just sometimes things are stereotypical. What can I say? Okay, so, and then he has the Hot Frog Living Composter. So this is $119, and I've never quite seen a composter like this. It is a worm composter, and it's easy and efficient way to quickly compost a variety of food and other scraps found around the home. I really love how this thing looks, but we already have a couple of places where we're doing our composting, but check it out. The price is $119. It has very, very, very good reviews. Okay, so anything else? I'm going to do some political stuff about Michigan politics, because some of the people we have here in Michigan they're just full of crap. And especially this jerk that is going on and on about the Great Lakes, and he's just plain old lying, and he's saying, the water temperature is warming up. And that I did some research, and we had like record cold temperatures in the lakes and freeze over. So I don't know what state he's talking about, but the state I live in that has Great Lakes, they're definitely not warming up. So whatever. But we need to give millions, even though President Trump just gave us $300 million for the Great Lakes. But whatever, So okay, so enough of my politics. I guess that's it. It's nice to be back. This book should be published and published in a Kindle format and also in a paperback. And then I roll up my sleeves and I make sure I get the audiobook version done. And then I am done with this. And then I start working on a new project for healing music. It's got something that really been percolating. I mean, it's, that's what happens. It just starts to come through. I can't tell you where it comes from. Maybe the ancient memories of who I was. Maybe it's from the great divine, the galactic center, who knows. But I'm definitely getting marching orders to create a specific kind of music, so I'll talk about that as I move into it. Okay, everybody, well, it's wonderful to be back. Radical Gardener, from my garden to yours, may your garden always grow. I just ask you to do two things. Please share my videos. It really helps to get the information out there, and I think a lot of this can be really helpful, especially to people that are just starting out and putting all this kind of stuff together. And just, give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways, love you all. Sending you a ton of love. All right. Bye.